It's 2 a.m. You're lying in bed, your eyes are closed, your room is dark, and your body is exhausted, but your brain refuses to switch off. It replays a conversation from 3 years ago. It invents arguments you'll never have. It reminds you of everything you forgot to do. You tell yourself to just stop thinking. It doesn't work. It never works. And here's the strange part. You assume something is wrong with you. But the real answer is far stranger. Your brain isn't broken. Your brain is doing exactly what it was built to do. It's just built for a world that no longer exists. Think about what falling asleep actually is. You are voluntarily shutting down your senses. You stop watching. You stop listening, mostly. You lie still, defenseless, for 7 or 8 hours. For you, that's normal. For almost every animal that has ever lived, that's suicide. Sleep is the most dangerous thing a creature can do. And your ancestors did it every single night, on the ground, in the open, surrounded by predators that hunted in the dark. Lions hunt at night. Leopards hunt at night. Hyenas hunt at night. And for millions of years, your ancestors were on the menu. They didn't have walls. They didn't have doors. They didn't have locks or lights or alarm systems. All they had was each other, a fire if they were lucky, and a brain that refused to fully relax. That last part matters more than you think. Because the humans who fell asleep instantly, deeply, without a care in the world, many of them didn't wake up. The nervous ones did. The ones whose brains ran one last threat scan before powering down. The ones who startled awake at a snapping twig. You are not descended from the relaxed sleepers. You are descended from the paranoid ones. So what does that mean for you, tonight, in your safe bedroom with its locked door? It means your brain still runs the ancient program. Psychologists call it the hyperarousal response, but you can think of it as a night watchman who never got the memo that the war is over. When you lie down, your brain does a final sweep. Is anything unresolved? Any threats? Any problems? In the ancient world, threats were physical. A predator, a rival, a storm. Today, your brain can't find a leopard, so it grabs whatever else looks like danger. An awkward email, an unpaid bill, something you said in 2019. To the ancient alarm system, a social threat and a physical threat light up the same circuitry. Your body doesn't know the difference. It floods you with the same cortisol, the same alertness, the same wide-awake vigilance it would use if something was circling your camp. And there's more. Your entire idea of what sleep should look like might be wrong. You believe good sleep means 8 unbroken hours. You believe waking up at 3 a.m. is a malfunction. But historians who dug into the past found something that changes everything. In the 1990s, a historian at Virginia Tech named Roger E. Kirch was researching nightlife in pre-industrial Europe. Buried in old court records, diaries, medical texts, and letters, he kept finding 2 strange phrases. First sleep, second sleep. At first, he thought it was a quirk of language. Then he found the pattern everywhere. England, France, Italy, Africa, Southeast Asia. Hundreds of references spanning centuries. And the picture they painted was remarkable. Before artificial light, humans didn't sleep in 1 block. They slept in 2. They went to bed a few hours after sunset and slept for about 4 hours. Then they woke up. On purpose. For an hour or 2 in the middle of the night, entire villages were quietly awake. People prayed. They talked with their spouse. They ate a small meal, visited neighbors, thought about their dreams. Then they returned to bed for their second sleep and woke at dawn. Waking in the middle of the night wasn't a disorder. It was the normal human pattern for thousands of years. Was this just a cultural habit? A scientist decided to test it. In the early 1990s, a psychiatrist named Thomas Ware at the National Institute of Mental Health ran a now famous experiment. He took a group of volunteers and removed artificial light from their lives. For 14 hours every night, they lived in darkness, mimicking a natural winter night. No lamps, no screens, just dark. At first, the volunteers mostly slept long hours, catching up on what Vare suspected was a chronic sleep debt most modern people carry without knowing it. But then, something remarkable happened. Within a few weeks, their sleep split in 2. They slept for about 4 hours, woke for 1 to 3 hours of quiet rest, then slept another 4. Exactly the pattern from E. Kirch's old documents. Nobody told them to do this. Their bodies simply remembered. Strip away the light bulb, and the ancient rhythm comes back on its own. So when you snap awake at 3 a.m., heart quiet, mind alert, and you panic because you're broken, you may be experiencing an echo of first and second sleep. The waking isn't always the problem. The panic about the waking is. In the pre-industrial world, that midnight hour was calm, even pleasant. Today it triggers anxiety, and anxiety triggers cortisol, and cortisol makes sure you stay awake much longer than your ancestors ever did. But there's another layer to this, because even within a single night, not everyone in an ancient camp was supposed to sleep at the same time. Have you ever noticed that teenagers naturally stay up late and grandparents wake before dawn? You probably assumed that's just lifestyle. It might be architecture. An anthropologist named David Sampson tested this idea with the Hadza, a hunter-gatherer people in Tanzania whose way of life resembles how humans lived for most of our history. His team fitted dozens of adults with motion tracking devices and recorded their sleep over hundreds of hours. Then, they asked a simple question. How often was everyone in the group asleep at the same time? The answer was almost never. Out of more than 200 hours of night, the entire camp was simultaneously asleep for only about 18 minutes. Total. At virtually every moment of every night, someone was awake or sleeping lightly. Young night owls dozed off late. Older early birds stirred before sunrise. Their mismatched body clocks meant the camp always had a sentinel, without anyone assigning guard duty. Scientists call this the sentinel hypothesis. Staggered sleep schedules weren't a flaw. They were a security system, written into our biology. Your night owl teenager and your 5 a.m. grandmother aren't dysfunctional. They're two shifts of an ancient watch rotation that no longer has anything to guard. Now put the pieces together. Your brain treats sleep as a vulnerability and scans for threats before allowing it. Your natural rhythm may include a wake window in the middle of the night, and your personal sleep schedule may be one slice of a group system designed so that someone was always on duty. None of this was a problem for 200,000 years. So what changed? Light changed. In 1879, the practical electric light bulb arrived, and within a few generations, humans did something no species had ever done. We abolished the night. Your brain decides when to release melatonin, the hormone that opens the gate to sleep based on light. Specifically, blue wavelength light, the color of the midday sky. For millions of years, blue light meant one thing. It is daytime. Stay alert. Then we filled our evenings with screens that pour blue light directly into our eyes. Your phone at midnight is whispering to the oldest part of your brain that the sun is high and there is work to do. Your brain believes it. It always believes it. It has no reason not to. For the entire history of life on Earth, light never lied. And it's not just the light. It's what's on the screen. Your ancestors' brains evolved to treat new information as survival critical. A rustle in the grass. A stranger on the horizon. News from another camp. Attention to novelty kept you alive. Now scroll your feed. Every swipe is novelty. Every notification is a stranger on the horizon. You are feeding your threat-scanning, information-hungry ancient brain an infinite savanna of things to evaluate at the exact moment it's supposed to be standing down. Is it any wonder it won't switch off? There's one more cruel twist. Worrying about sleep makes sleep worse. Researchers call this psychophysiological insomnia, but the mechanics are ancient and simple. When you lie there thinking, I have to fall asleep, I have a meeting tomorrow, this is a disaster, your brain hears one word, threat. And what does the ancient program do with threats? It keeps you awake to deal with them. You are, quite literally, standing guard against your own bedtime. The harder you fight for sleep, the more your brain classifies sleep as a battle. And nobody sleeps in the middle of a battle. So what do you actually do with all this? You stop fighting a machine that's working correctly, and you start speaking its language. The language is light, temperature, and safety. Dim your world in the last hour before bed, because darkness is the only signal your brain has ever trusted to mean the day is over. Let your bedroom be cool, because your core temperature has to drop for sleep to begin, a leftover from nights when the air cooled after sunset. And if you wake at 3 a.m., don't declare an emergency. Don't grab your phone, don't check the clock. Don't start the panic spiral. Treat it the way your great-great-grandparents might have. A quiet pause between first sleep and second sleep. Rest in the dark. Let your mind drift. The calm itself tells your inner watchman, there's nothing out there tonight, and watchmen who see no threats eventually sit down. Because here's the truth underneath all of it. Your insomnia is not a defect. It's an inheritance. Every restless night connects you to 100,000 generations of people who survived because their brains refused to fully let go. The twig snap that once meant a leopard now arrives as a notification. The midnight watch that once protected a sleeping camp now guards an empty room. Your brain never stopped protecting you. It just never learned that you won. So tonight, it might be 2 a.m. again. You might be lying in bed, eyes closed, room dark, body exhausted, brain wide awake. But now you know what that voice in your head really is. It isn't anxiety. It isn't failure. It's a night watchman, older than fire, older than language, still walking the perimeter of a camp that vanished long ago, still keeping you safe from a darkness that no longer has teeth.